This is Noah. He was avoided by everyone his entire life and no one talked to him, so he begged us to make him Naruto. We're going to use real life science to give him all of Naruto's powers like Rasengan, Sage Mode, even Kurama Mode, and so much more. However, each experiment gradually uncovered something horrifying inside Noah's body, the creepy truth behind why everyone feared him. And it's one of the most bone-chilling scientific phenomena ever discovered. But let's start with Shadow Clone Jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu allows Naruto to create clones of himself. They can fight, think, and when they disappear, their memories transfer back to the original. To recreate this ability in Noah, there are two problems to solve: building the clones' bodies and transferring their memories. Here's how we build the bodies. There's a set of proteins in your cells that act like a reset button called Yamanaka factors. If you activate it, the cell forgets what it is and becomes a blank state, kinda like factory resetting an iPhone. Therefore, we make it so that Noah can activate that reset button at will. The blank cells will then develop according to the body's natural blueprint, the same instructions that built Noah in the first place, creating another Noah. But you can't build a body from nothing, so Noah has to sit in a tank filled with nutrients while using the ability, giving his cells enough raw ingredients to build the clones. As for the memories, in 2018, a scientist named David Glanzman at UCLA managed to inject memories from one sea slug to another. This was possible because memories aren't just stored in the brain, they're also stored in something called RNA, tiny chemical messengers inside your cells. When the clones disappear, their RNA returns to Noah's brain, giving him their memories. After the experiment, we noticed something strange in Noah's blood. There are RNA fragments that don't belong to him at all, and it's not from the clones. We'll get to this mystery later. In Naruto, chakra is the energy behind every ability. It's a mix of physical power from the body and mental focus from the mind. To give Noah this, we start inside his cells. Every cell has tiny power plants called the mitochondria. So, we boost a protein in his body called PGC1 alpha, forcing his body to produce more mitochondria and thus more raw energy. However, energy needs a path to travel. Every cell already has tiny tunnels, called gap junctions, that connect it to its neighbors. Therefore, we widen those tunnels so that more energy can flow through Noah's body. But to control chakra, Noah has to enter a state of complete mental stillness. The moment he gets distracted, the energy cuts off. There's also another cost. Producing this much energy leaves behind molecular waste that punches holes in Noah's DNA, and the molecular waste is hitting his junk DNA the hardest, DNA that supposedly serves no purpose. We realize something eerie. The strange RNA fragments from the last chapter originate from the same junk DNA, and our biological modification just released more of them. Naruto can spin his chakra into a tight destructive spear called a Rasengan. Here's how we recreate it. We engineer tiny magnetic crystals found in magnetotactic bacteria into Noah's palm cells, because these crystals can produce a strong magnetic field. This allows Noah's palm to generate a rotating magnetic field that heats the surrounding air until it becomes plasma, the fourth state of matter, and is also what the sun's core is made of. Now here's the interesting part. Spinning plasma automatically generates its own magnetic field, and that magnetic field keeps the plasma spinning, causing them to maintain each other. This is called magnetohydrodynamics. Basically, Noah only needs to keep feeding energy into it to keep it running. When Noah fires the Rasengan at something, the plasma strips electrons directly off the target's atoms. Those electrons are what holds molecules together. As a result, anything the Rasengan touches doesn't just melt, it disintegrates from the inside. But there's a heavy price. The heat builds up in Noah's hands with every use, slowly destroying them. And remember those RNA fragments? They're no longer just in his blood, they're bleeding into his organs now. Sage Mode allows Naruto to absorb power directly from nature itself, instead of relying solely on his internal chakra. There are cells called chloroplasts. They allow plants to convert sunlight into usable energy through a process called photosynthesis. Therefore, we integrate chloroplasts in Noah's body, allowing his body to absorb energy from sunlight. In addition, we're also going to give Noah the ability to absorb energy from enemy attacks. The human skeleton is naturally piezoelectric, meaning it produces electricity when hit or vibrated. So, we enhance this in Noah, converting enemy attacks into usable energy. Finally, we engineer tiny sensors across his skin, the same ones platypuses use to detect electrical signals underwater. This allows Noah to detect the bioelectric field of any living thing nearby. A bioelectric field is the faint electrical signal leaking from a living being's body. However, the longer Noah is in Sage mode, the more damaged his body becomes, because chloroplasts produce oxygen as a byproduct, and excessive oxygen is toxic. There's a big emergency. Those RNA fragments are now showing up in Noah's breath. They're leaving his body and spreading around him. Kurama is a massive fox sealed inside Naruto's body, and Kurama mode allows Naruto to produce a golden energy cloak, extend arms of pure energy, and sense killing intent. The key to recreating these is a bacteria called Geobacter, because it can produce electricity by releasing electrons. So, we integrate Geobacter into Noah's cells, causing an electrical current to flow in his body. The current then supercharges the proteins and moisture on his skin, pulling them outward into a dense mesh of fibers, creating a physical shell around his body. Scientists call this electrospinning. Noah can also concentrate that current in one direction, extending the fiber mesh outward into an arm. As for sensing killing intent, whenever someone feels it, adrenaline floods their body and leaks out through their breath and sweat as specific chemicals. Therefore, we engineer Noah's nose to detect those exact chemicals. But after this experiment, we found something bone-chilling. The people who were in the same room as Noah during the procedure now have those strange RNA fragments inside them, and they didn't before this. Baryon mode fuses Naruto and Kurama's chakra, allowing him to drain an enemy's life force on contact. To give Noah this ability, we force his mitochondria and Geobacter to merge their energy systems together. Each amplifies the other in a loop that never stops accelerating. At this energy level, Noah's cells begin producing a protein called progerin. There is a disease called progeria, where children born with this protein age 10 times faster than normal, dying around age 13. This is because progerin collapses the structural support inside cells, causing DNA damage to pile up faster than the body can fix it. Noah's skin excretes progerin through sweat, so the moment he makes physical contact with an enemy, it enters their cells, and their tissue starts aging irreversibly. However, there's a heavy price. The progerin also drains his own lifespan, and the energy from Baryon mode also does something else. Remember the RNA fragments from earlier? They're the dark reason Noah was avoided by everyone, and Baryon mode just fully unleashed them by completely damaging his DNA. Here's what they really are. Those RNA fragments are ancient viral fragments left behind by viruses that infected his ancestors millions of years ago and never fully left his DNA. And now, after Baryon mode, Noah's ancient viral fragments start flooding out like a broken dam. But here's the most unsettling part. Unlike progerin, they don't need physical contact to spread. They infect everyone around him like the plague. This could be the end of humanity. Here's why. Your cells have an alarm system called C-casting. Its only job is to detect DNA that's floating where it shouldn't be and treat it as a virus. When this system activates, it triggers a full immune attack on your own cells. Noah was born with ancient viral fragments, and his cells have been quietly leaking it at low levels, contaminating everyone around him. They feared and avoided him, and they never knew why, but their C-casting did. However, after Baryon mode, the fragments inside Noah were revived and mutated into something far worse, ancient viruses that predate humanity itself. Every human currently alive has zero evolutionary defense against them, because their immune systems have never encountered anything this old. Noah now has all of Naruto's powers, but he also became the harbinger of doom.